Good morning. Happy Saturday. It's Saturday. This feels like we've had Saturday every day for the last couple of days with the July 4th holiday on Thursday. I am in beautiful Newport, California. Sun's just about to rise. I'm looking forward to doing a sunrise walk and talk here in a few minutes, and I thought I'd check in with notable news from the week. I really like this series on Saturday where we talk about, the news of the week. You can find everything I'm about to mention on my LinkedIn. So if you go to my LinkedIn, you'll see these articles, and I have a link to every article. If the article or newsletter is behind a paywall, then I try to put more information in my post. But you can get that all here now. It was a relatively light news week, and we're going to keep it kind of light today. And I kind of like the fact that just hanging out here, beach is about half mile away. Surprised the sun's not quite up yet. There's a little bit of, I'm going to call it fog, but a little bit of coastal eddy. So it's a little darker than you think. So first article, posted on last Monday, the U.S. real estate market in charts. It's from A Wealth of Common Sense. There's about 20 great charts in this newsletter. The thing that caught my attention was just inventory's up a little bit, sales are down. You can get all the statistics and the charts from this article. It's a good article, about 15 pages. Like I said, about 12 charts. If you like visuals, if you're a real estate agent or a loan officer and you do presentations, you can get some really good market data from here. You can also check out my LinkedIn post. It summarizes the data if you want to read the entire thing. So, and by the way, I'm trying to perfect this news and notes a little bit. Last couple of weeks I've gone super long because I've gone into detail into each article. I'm gonna try not to do that. Keep it a little faster, and if you want to get the details, go find it, on Google News or go check out my LinkedIn. The next one article that I featured on LinkedIn was an article from Clever. The name of the article is "The True Cost of Selling a Home in 2024." This article was really interesting. The headline news was the average cost to sell a home is about $54,000, and that's the average cost in the United States, and that includes about 21,000 in both buyer and seller commissions, about $10,000 for deferred maintenance or repairs to get ready to sell. But that wasn't the interesting part of this article. The interesting part of this article was buyer sentiment, and it's amazing how many sellers had regret about selling their house, and it ranks what their regret is, and selling for too less, not selling for enough, selling at the wrong time. The number one was selling at all because they miss their house after they leave. But it lists a pretty long list of regrets. It also says, it gives a list of what, sellers would do if they had it to do over again. Kind of interesting. In the article, they also have some survey responses about what the seller thought about their agent, and would they go without an agent? Would they, um, it, you know, um, people that choose to list the house themselves. It's really interesting. People that choose to list the house themselves end up selling their house for considerably less, on average about $31,000 less than people that don't. So, their entire savings is lost by not selling enough. But the article, this is a lengthy but really in-depth, and if you deal with, sellers, it gives you good insights into their mindset. So check it out. A really good article. So next, and that article was on Monday too. Next, I did a really light article or a newsletter from Sherwood News. The newsletter is Snacks. Sherwood News puts out two newsletters. I think one's the Daily Spark, the other one's Snacks. Both of them are great. This one I'm just kind of a pretty light post for me. It had to do with Amazon days, and just one, how big Amazon days are now. They do like $13 billion in sales on Amazon Day. Amazon does. But what was interesting in the article, what caught my attention is, how other retailers are now competing with Amazon for Amazon Prime Days. Well, Walmart. As a matter of fact, this weekend I saw a whole bunch of ads from Target for Circle Days. That's their equivalent of Amazon Days. Best Buy, Walmart. They're all trying to roll out competing days. So anyway, really light, quick post. I don't, the Sherwood newsletters are free. You can click through them on my LinkedIn post if you want more information on Amazon, the growth of Amazon days. This next my next post, which was on Tuesday, I was actually reposting a article from Kelly Yale, and her LinkedIn article was building an innovation department at a mortgage company. And so she talks about strategies of how and when to invest in the technology and what's the best way, how to get the most out of your technology, how to beta test it. It was actually a really good article. I don't know Kelly, but she did a really good job. This is extremely substantive. I enjoyed it. You can check it out. It's on my LinkedIn on Tuesday. Um, the next article, I kind of like this little informal, sitting kind of casual, talking about news. So thanks. If you listen, thanks. And if you're listening and you have any feedback or encouragement, I'm all ears. I'm all ears. I appreciate it. I really like this. This is I posted this on Wednesday. I actually reposted a post from Gary Acosta from NAREP and the Hispanic Wealth Project, and I love Gary. I look forward to his weekly newsletter that comes into my. It goes out every Sunday morning, first thing. He can sometimes be provocative. He's always pleasant, always very thoughtful, and I learn a lot. I get a lot of insights from reading Gary's. And in this his last week's newsletter, which I reposted on Wednesday, the room where it happens, he talks about being invited. Kevin Sears invited him to join him and a few other folks from NAR to meet with the DOJ about the whole lawsuits and settlement and cooperative commissions. And so Gary really appreciated being at the table. He also shared kind of how the conversation went. But it was really insights. It was like he brought you to the table too, and I got a lot out of it. I will tell you though. So the neat thing, his whole point of view was, to have influence, you got to be at the table, and so I completely appreciated that. That being said, I will tell you, and I read quite a few other articles this week about it. The DOJ is not joking around. It's not joking around at all. And what the DOJ, and by the way, this was, I think, the sense was a really friendly, collaborative meeting. But the DOJ was clear, like, hey, we're not for cooperative commissions. And what my sense was from this article and others, the DOJ clearly said, if you guys try to circumvent the settlement, we are going to whack you. And that's why Kevin came out with a statement the next day saying, hey, MLSs do not circumvent the settlement, or else we are going to be in a huge problem. And you're seeing it because here in California, CAR, who had already redone all their forms, are having to redo their forms again for fear that they're not really fully embracing the spirit of the settlement. And man, I'm telling you, the DOJ is not joking around, and that came out clear. But read Gary. Gary's great. Also on Wednesday, this was another really good article. This one's from Redfin. It's super chunky. It has to do with the title of the article is a typical home is selling for less than list price. The first time that this happened since the late spring of the pandemic. This article has just a ton of really good statistics in it. The gist is, homes are selling for about 99.7% across the country, about 99.7% of list price, right? And there's still a shortage of inventory, even though those inventory's up. 33% of homes sold over asking price. Current month supply is about 3.3. Homes are appreciating about 5% a year. Just really good info. About just a little under half the homes sell in less than 2 weeks. So it's still a really robust market. And if you want more house statistics, this Redfin article is awesome. It's about 12 pages, and I posted that on Wednesday. On Thursday, I posted thoughts from the front line from John Malden. And if you're a loan officer, and I think a real estate agent, you should just make it one of your disciplines to read Thoughts on the Front Line every single Sunday. And in Thoughts on the Front Line, which is really just kind of a newsletter, not only on the markets and the economy, but John Malden, first, he's not political. It's just completely financial, and he gives you a deeper insight into understanding things, right? So he's not just giving you headline news, and he's not just giving you sound bites. He'll go deep into different topics that really make you think, and it gives you more substance. So it's one thing when you just are quoting an economist or you're quoting statistics, but another thing when you kind of have a depth of understanding And that's what you get from reading John stuff. And this last last Sunday's or it comes out on Saturdays, by the way, sorry. Last Saturday's newsletter, the title of it was Debtors and Creditors. And this is really important to understand if you're concerned about interest rates, because we think the Fed sets interest rates. It's not true at all. It's not true at all. They can try to target interest rates, but the fact is unless the Fed's buying the bonds, they don't set the rate because it's the buyers that set the rate, right? It's what am I willing to buy that debt for, right? And that has to do with risk and what the inflation risk in the future is. But the Fed can say, hey, we're going to sell short-term bonds at 3.5, and nobody buys them. You know what happens? They got to raise the yield, right? Then they got to sell it at 4 or 4.5. And what this newsletter goes about speaking about is and this has been a recurring theme across many different articles and publications. Who's going to buy this debt and at what cost, right? Because that's a much bigger question than, is the Fed going to cut rates? It's like, who's buying the debt? And it talks about, what sovereign countries are buying the debt and, the role of different, money markets and hedge funds, insurance companies buying the debt, and what the prediction is for their appetite in the future, which will really be the thing that directs interest rates. So check that out. That's John Malden. That posted that on Thursday. Going to Friday, I did a really fun light post about, and this was from an article in Over My Shoulder from another Malden publication. It has to do with the concentration of men and women across the U.S. And it's really interesting. East of the Mississippi, there are more women than men. West of the Mississippi, there are more men than women. And if you look at geographic map, that's fascinating. So that was Friday. Saturday, Poacher's Playbook. I talked about this yesterday for some length if you saw my post yesterday. This has to do with agent mindset. It was really interesting. The article spoke to agents that are thinking about moving in the next 12 months, or why an agent would move from one company to another, what agents value with their brokers, all about agent mindset, what value they want, what value they get, how the different franchise models or independent models, how they compete in the marketplace. Posted that yesterday. And then lastly today, I'm posting that today, so you'll get that today. Lastly, I posted today about remote work, the changing behavior of remote work. Really didn't have anything to do with mortgage or real estate, but it is an interesting thing. And then tomorrow I am posting an article on pools. And pools are way down. There's going to be a record low pools constructed in the United States this year. And there's going to be under 60,000, maybe as many as 55,000. And it's because it's super expensive now to borrow money to go do a pool. You might have to pay 11-12%. So people are going, I'm not going to add a pool. And then builders, are trying to maintain price points. And so they're removing some of the features of home. And one thing they're removing is pools. And so it's going to be the lowest amount of pools built in decades, right? 54,000. Anyway, that's the news notes for the week. Thanks for checking me out. Thanks for listening. I hope you had a great week. Tomorrow is book club Sunday. I can't wait. I'll see you again tomorrow morning. Thanks. Bye.